This is my third take. I had to cut and redo this each time because it just got progressively more and more rantatious, angry. And I didn't even bother to clean off the desk for this introduction. So the the point of this video is to talk about physical media and digital media rights holdings to my ignorant perusal knowledge, and the availability of making games that the company has first party rights to make available that they just blatantly choose not to do because apparently they don't want your money. Because if they did, they would make as many channels available to get your money for as many games as they have the ability to make available for purchase. Because if they wanted money, they'd do it. So we're going to start with this one here, because the whole point of this whole video was the knowledge that came to me of the Nintendo eShop for the 3DS and for the Wii U. It's gone. It's gone. It has completely died as of yesterday or today. It's gone. Forever. Digital games, exclusive digital games, are gone. Hours and hours into the night of developers slaving in front of a computer, typing at the screen, their eyes glazing over from lack of sleep. They're getting maybe 5 hours a week of sleep. They are tired, they are overworked, and they're doing their best to put out a product for the consumer base to be able to purchase and play. And now, many of those games are gone. All of those hours are wasted. All of that time, effort, imagination, and creativity has been blown into the wind because the last legal ability to play many of these games has just went and gone kaput. It is bleh. And it's depressing. It is, because people still wanted to play those games. They did. They still wanted to play them. And they were more than willing to pay Nintendo money to play these games. To my understanding, the way games are made, the developers and all that stuff, the developers are paid as you would do, as any job would do, right? You go to the gas station, you get your 40 hours, and you get your paycheck. That's how the developer is paid, right? They are paid with the money that the company has, paychecks and crap like that. So they already get paid. They already got paid for this game right here, right? They already got paid for the games. The money that the company makes after the game gets sold goes towards paying them for the next game. The profits to the company to make the next thing. So they already got paid for Pokemon Emerald. They already got paid for Fire Emblem, whatever. They already got paid for all of the exclusives and classics that are now long gone for legal channel availability to purchase. Outside of hard copies, if there are hard copy availabilities of these games, which they are about to skyrocket, which we're going to talk about with this one. You see, to my knowledge, in about 2005, when this game launched, according to supercheats.com, because I couldn't find an actual other service, website, site source that tells me the actual price, but according to Supercheats, the comments on Supercheats, they said that this game released in 2005 for $30, and that sounds about right for what was paid for it in 2005. I wasn't like in my 20s and 30s in 2005. I wasn't that old, so I don't know how much this actually was. I wasn't the one who bought it. This was a gift to me, so I don't actually know how much, and the person who bought this probably doesn't remember how much it was. But $30 does sound about right. It does sound about right for all the Gen 3 Pokemon games, so $30, right? Guess how much it costs today? Just the game. Not the manual, not the box, none of that. Just the game. According to pricecharting.com, which is a pretty reliable source, the average price for the loose cartridge of Pokemon Emerald is about $180. You can pay Greg on eBay $180 and he'll ship this to you. That is unacceptable, at least to me. Because for somebody who just wants to play the game, they're not a collector, they're not a hardcore collector, because, you know, hardcore collectors are pretty insane. We tend to get insane. We are insane. But if you're not a hardcore collector, you're just a fan of something, and you just want to play a game, you just want to play it, you know, you just want to play Pokemon Emerald, you should not have to pay Greg $180 on eBay just to play this game. This is why a lot of people are doing Yaaaay there, mateys. They're doing naughty things because there's no legal way to do it anymore. Nintendo isn't getting that $180 from eBay. Nintendo's not getting that. Nintendo's not getting anything for anybody wanting to play Emerald anymore. Game Freak is not getting anything because they're not making it available for purchase. Because you see, to my knowledge, I'm using that as a disclaimer because I could be freaking wrong, and that's fine. People make mistakes. But to my knowledge, Nintendo has the legal rights, still to this day, to distribute this game for sale, digitally or otherwise. They could make available a Game Boy Advance emulator on their Switch if they so desired. They can make an actual virtual console, so as to say. Let's say you go onto the actual first-party store of Switch, and they have a list of all of Nintendo's classic legacy consoles, from the Nintendo Entertainment System to the Game Boy Advance to the GameCube, all of it. Let's say all the software it takes to play and run digital games like Pokemon Emerald here, they make available on their little Switch store. You can buy your digital Nintendo Entertainment System, your digital Game Boy Advance. You can buy a virtual console, which is legally, you know, they're selling their software that they own, and they can make money off of it. You'd think they'd want to do that, you know, make money. You know, they think they want to do that, right? Right? So they could do that, and they can make this game available for purchase. All legally. They have the rights to do this. They just choose. They choose not to. They choose not to make this game available for you to buy. Through them, that they get to make that money for their purchase. They have chosen to let Greg make $180, $150 more than they made for a legal purchase of this when it was brand new. So if I bought this in 2005 for $30, I could sell it today for $180 on eBay and make $150 more than I spent on the game. Nintendo would probably want that $150, you know, but I don't know whose decision it is to not make things available for purchase. I don't know whose decision it is to not want to make money. I don't know whose decision it is to say, hey, you see all this stuff that we have available here legally to distribute digitally with all of our software that we own first party, that we can make available digitally for people to buy and download, and we can make all of that money instead of people just going online and downloading it for free, being a naughty little person that I cannot condone. Instead of us making that money, they just get to do it that way. You know, we have the ability, and this, I don't know whose idea it is, who's in charge to say let's not make money, but whoever's in charge saying that clearly doesn't want to make money, because if he wanted to make money, he would probably do what I just said. Make all this crap available that they have the illegal ability to do. You know, Sony, I give Sony a lot of crap. I do. A couple years ago, Sony and fans of Sony had a major scare. A major scare. The PlayStation 3 network, the PlayStation Vita network, and the PlayStation Portable storefronts, all those storefronts were at risk of closing forever, closing for good and forever, which means hundreds of digital-only games and thousands of DLC, expansions, exclusives, character downloads, bonus levels, a bunch of cosmetics and outfits and crap. There's a oodles and boodles of crap onto the network. That was at risk of going away forever, for good. There were a lot of exclusives on there. Exclusives like... let me find one here. Here we go. Exclusives like this one here, Drakengard 3. To my knowledge, this game is still available for digital purchase onto the PlayStation 3 store. It is a PlayStation 3 exclusive, which means only the PlayStation 3 can play this game, digital or physical. Sony has the ability to have made their PlayStation 4 and subsequently the PlayStation 5. They had the ability to make it so that you could, if you had a copy of this game, you could like open it up, take the disc out, pop it into their little system, read the disc, and play it right away. But guess what? They stopped manufacturing these a long time ago. But digital purchase has an unlimited supply, infinite supply. You can download a copy you can make a copy of a file as many times as you want. You could sell a digital game infinitely. If there's 7 billion people on the planet and every single friggin' one of them wanted to play Drakengard 3, they could get a digital version and play it. You'd have 7 billion purchases. You'd think that, considering that knowledge, if we had the rights, the first-party rights, to continue to make a product available for purchase digitally, we would make it available as wide of a reach as we physically possibly could. You'd think, right? Apparently you'd be wrong, because this is only available on the PlayStation 3. You cannot get it on the 4 or the 5. They have not made this available. I don't know why, but once the PlayStation 3 store closes, DLC that exists for this game is going to go away forever. This is not available on the Xbox. It's not available on PC. So, you will never have that DLC ever again. Ever. Which means you will have to talk to the rights holder, which I don't know if it's Square Enix or not. Whoever made the game, which to my knowledge I cannot find on here. But whoever the rights holder is has the ability, legally, to make it available for purchase. And they just choose not to make it available for purchase for some weird reason. They don't want money for it anymore. I don't know why. I don't know. I really don't. Which means, once this stops becoming available for purchase digitally, the physical price can skyrocket. Much like this here. If this game is $20 on the digital storefront right now, and the digital storefront was to suddenly die, and right now physically this is about $40 to $50, suddenly Greg on eBay, who has a copy of this, Greg could charge you, let's say $180, like this thing here. Greg could charge you $180. And if Greg is the only one who is supplying this game, you know, if the hard copy is the only medium left to you legally, then you have to pay $180 to play it. To play it! Collectors were insane. You know, the insane people will do insane things that don't make sense. But if you're just a person who wants to play video games, you just want to play them, you just want to play this, if your option is to pay Greg $180 for a physical copy, or to be a little bit naughty, Sony's not going to make any of that money, because they've shut down their last legal available option, if they choose to do this route. They haven't done it yet, but if they do, if Sony makes it so that you can't pay them for a game that you want to play, and the only option is to pay Greg $180 on eBay, or to be naughty can you blame the consumer who would have been willing to pay you $20 for the game being a little bit naughty? Can you blame them? They want to play the game. They don't want to pay $180 to Greg. What are you expecting them to do? Just not play it? Let content, let media just die, and all that time and hours that people spent working on a product, you just want that to go away? I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. I really don't. I think products should be available for purchase. Available to play, to consume, to enjoy. Somebody's idea went into this. A lot of sleepless nights went into this. And if you take it away, if you take the availability of it away, you take all of that time that they put into it, and you throw that away too. They already got paid to make the game, but what's the point of making a game if nobody gets to play it? You should make these things available. If you have the legal rights to make them available, make them available. An excellent example, a little bit of a too little too late example, but an excellent example is Legend of Dragoon. I have the loose disc out because I have the case. I have the case, but it's a very reflective surface. It's a very reflective surface, and I don't like reflective surfaces showing everything, I don't like it. So I'm just going to show you the disc. Recently, Sony, who owns the rights legally to distribute this game, has decided to re-release it on their PlayStation 4 and 5 platforms. Anybody who wishes to play this game now can go onto their PlayStation Store, find the game for $9.99, and buy it, and play it, and enjoy it. Just as the game intended to be enjoyed, to be purchased, to be paid for, to have the rights holders get paid for the game, and then the consumers get to enjoy the product. It makes complete logical sense. Prior to Sony's announcement of re-releasing Legend of Dragoon, prior to this announcement, the physical copy and the digital version on the PlayStation 3 store were the only legal methods available to play this game. And let's talk about the prices for that. Right now, physically, loose, this is about $33. Completed box, which I have completed box, is about $50 to $60. About as much as it was when it was brand new. So that means the price went down, because it used to be over $60. And I'm sighing a lot. It's not that I'm exasperated or nothing. I'm running out of breath. I've been ranting for over an hour, but I've cut a lot of footage out. This is my third take. I'm a bit tired. But so, prior to Sony's announcement, the physical copy was a lot more than $30 for loose, just for the discs. It used to be a lot more. And how can I tell that? Because according to pricecharting.com, the last sale of just the case, this thing right here, the case, the last sale reported was, I believe it was $20. Let's see here. Yeah, the last sale of just the case was $20. The manual, the last reported sale, according to price charting, was $26.97. So $27. That is the last reported sale for those. So that tells me that the game itself was a whole lot more prior to Sony's recent announcement. Yeah. So that's a good thing, though. They've made this available for another generation of fans, and for the old generation. Let's talk about that PlayStation 3 availability, though. It's always been on the PlayStation 3 for digital purchase. It's $5.99 on the PlayStation 3 digital store as of today. You can go onto it, depending upon the region of your store. I'm in the US, so it's the US region. The PlayStation 3 storefront in the US has Legend of Dragoon for $5.99. That's a good price. It's better than the physical price. It's even cheaper than the PS3, PS4, PS5 price. The reason why you're paying the extra $4 on the PS4, PS5 price is for the upscaling. I believe there's trophy support. I believe there's quick saves. There's a speed up ability, I think. There's a lot of cool little things that they added to the game that don't exist on the PlayStation 3 digital version. So definitely, give it a look. Give it a shot. Play it. Because that's an example of doing it right. Sony had the rights to this game. They have the rights. They have always had the rights to it, which means at any given time, from the day this released for the PlayStation 1 to 2023 today, they had the rights to make this available for purchase wherever they decided to make it available for purchase. They could have had it available as a PS1 classic on the PlayStation 4 ever since the PlayStation 4 launched in, I believe it was like 2014 or something, 2013, 2014, I don't really know. But when the PlayStation 4 launched, they had the legal rights to make this game available, but they just chose not to up until today. I don't know why. But the fact that they're doing it at all tells me that they have the rights to do it. They had the rights to do it all along. I'm glad that they're doing it at all, though, because Nintendo apparently doesn't want money, because they're not making it available to buy these little games. They are not making it available. They just yoinked the stores off the platform. They made it gone. Here's another example of an exclusive. It's worth more than it was when it was brand new. Folklore, last time I checked the store, the price charting. I haven't checked it right now today. I could, I don't feel like it. Well, last time I checked it, it was more than $60 for a physical copy. Complete in box. You know, I have the complete in box. I have the manual, I have the case, and my disc is in very good condition. And, I bought this for like $25 about 6 years ago. And now it is about over $60. Because there's no digital version. It is a PlayStation 3 exclusive. A first-party PlayStation 3 exclusive. So, very much like Legend of Dragoon, if Sony wanted, they could make this game available digitally on their PlayStation 4 or 5 storefronts. They just choose not to for some reason. I guess they don't want your money for this game. Greg will give it to you for $100 on eBay. But, you know, if you don't want to give Greg $100, Sony could always just make it $19.99 on the PS5 store. At any time at all. Another good example, well, not a good example at all, but this is another example of a game that's worth far more than it should be. Xenosaga 3 is, what? $200 right now? $300? $400? It's only going to get more. It's only going to get higher. I have here a complete copy, by the way. I've got, here's the first Xenosaga game. We got the manual. I've got both discs. You know, that's all. This is a big game, man. Now, there's not too many PS2 games that have multiple discs. This isn't a bonus disc. The other half of the game is on here, man. That's crazy to think about. But, what do I have this out? I don't it's worth more than it was when it was brand new. Limited availability plus demand, you know, that's how it goes. That's how things work. The rights holders, we don't know. Is it Bandai? Is it Bamco? Monolith Soft, the guys who are putting out the Xenoblade games on your Nintendo consoles, they were the ones who originally made this game, before Nintendo bought the company out. They were going under. They were in debt. They were going bankrupt or something. And Nintendo bailed them out, basically. They bought them out and bailed them out of losing everything. It was a very nice thing to do, because now we got Xenoblade. But these were made on the PlayStation 2 as exclusives, and Monolith apparently doesn't have the rights to them or something. I don't friggin' know. But these games have never been re-released, because nobody knows who has the rights. Who has the friggin' rights to this thing? I'm gonna have to cut this short. I'm getting close to choking, coughing. Here, let me do this, talk about this real quick. The PSP store is still available on the PlayStation 3. It is. They have closed availability to access the store on the physical PlayStation Portable. But you can still access the store on the PlayStation 3. This game, alongside Persona 1 and Persona 2 Innocent Sin, the PSP versions, they're on the PlayStation 3 store. You can buy them. Then you have to go grab your DS, plug in your little thingamajiggy, and go into USB mode. And then you can transfer the PlayStation Portable games onto your PlayStation Portable. Games like this are exclusive to the PlayStation Portable. This is Final Fantasy IV, the Complete Edition, the Complete Collection. Now, what is in the PlayStation, the Final Fantasy IV Complete Collection? Well, you got Final Fantasy IV, which has plenty of versions out there. There's plenty of ways to play it. There's Final Fantasy IV The After Years. There's plenty of ways to access this, but not as many as this one. And then there's a third game that is exclusive to this version. It is called... where is it? Where is it? Does it say? It is, an all-new Final Fantasy IV interlude game that binds the two epic narratives together. Final Fantasy IV Interlude is roughly a 5 to 10 hour expansion to Final Fantasy IV. It's the same gameplay engine, same characters. It is a story that bridges the first game to the after years. It is exclusive to this version, and it is exclusive to the PlayStation Portable. Sony could always just make this available on Steam. I mean, not Sony, but Square Enix. Square Enix could always make this available on Steam if they wanted to. They could always put it on the Switch. It would probably sell like hotcakes on the Switch. You know, they have the legal rights to do this. They have the legal rights to distribute this, but they just don't, to my knowledge. They could always do it at any time, and they might have already done so. They are slowly starting to realize. They are slowly starting to realize that we like these games. We like them. We do. Recently, I've learned that the Battle Network, Mega Man Battle Network, the Game Boy Advance Battle Network Mega Man games, have a new Switch release coming out that contains all 6 Battle Network games. That is freaking amazing. I am so excited and happy that that's happening. We need to see that happen for more and more of these things. We need to see more availability. Digital storefronts need to come in. I mentioned earlier in this video how Nintendo probably has the rights to do this. They probably have the means and ability to do this. They can emulate the Game Boy Advance. They can emulate the Color. They can emulate the original Game Boy. They can emulate the Super Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, the Game Boy, the GameCube, the Nintendo 64. They have virtual consoles to emulate these things. And they can always do that. And that's how you were able to play a bunch of them on the eShop. A bunch of the classic games, you were doing it through emulation. Because clearly they show the ability. Sony has the ability. Sony has the ability. On the PlayStation 3, when you buy a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2 Classic, when you boot that game up, it is booting it up on the original software of that PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 system. It is emulating the game for you. It is emulating it. Which means that they have the ability to do that. They have had the ability to do that since the start. Which means, by not making, at the very least, PS1 and PS2, by not giving those backwards compatibilities onto the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 shows that they're doing it intentionally. Despite having the ability to put them up. They could even put it up for purchase. You can go into the PlayStation Store and buy Virtual PlayStation, Virtual PlayStation 2, Virtual PlayStation 3. You could just buy the Virtual Console and just download the software. And then you could just buy the digital versions of the games that they have the legal rights to continue to sell, such as this one, which they're finally doing. But they have a lot more that they have the rights to that they're not doing it for. It's a step in the right direction to finally re-release Legend of Dragoon. I'm hoping they realize that they can do it for a lot more than just Legend of Dragoon. This rant has gone on for long enough. But gaming has taken a major hit with Nintendo's decision to axe the eShop. Now, hundreds of physical 3DS and friggin' Wii U games, hundreds, thousands of those physical games, the prices for those games can now be gouged. Greg on Facebook can now charge you $180 for every single friggin' game he feels like charging you for. And you have no choice but to pay Greg that if you want a legal option to play the game. Because otherwise, you have to be naughty. There is no other way. There is no other way right now to play these games other than to buy them used or to be naughty. Regardless of which one you do, Nintendo is not seeing a single dime of it. So, if Nintendo's mad, they know what to do. They know how to solve this. If they want to make money, let us buy games from them.